哦哦。
语言、饮食、环境，或许对我们来说都很日常，但对于新住民而言，要面临的不仅是环境的适应、语言沟通、文化的差异，还有饮食习惯的不同。
走过来，
你的来了？
没有。
她是潘妈妈，来自越南的台湾新住民。
我叫范世如泉，我今年44岁，我从越南来的，我23岁嫁到台湾，2000年来，对。从我家来台湾，我在家帮忙我婆婆做家事，照顾小孩，等我小孩，照顾我小孩到他5岁，他去读书，他去读幼稚园，所以我才开始上班。我去上班，我去卖早餐我去市场卖葱卷。3个小时而已，我回来我还有一点点时间整理家庭，准备饭，准备再休息。下午还有一份工作，也是在市场卖水煎包。他睡觉没关系，我自己买东西啊。
要不要腌了？
放一起就好。
不是，你要不要腌了？这不用的。
要什么？
腌了。不用啊。
看去吧。
130度，这边100。
好。那哥哥，谢谢。谢谢你啊。这个怎么也是，很大。低了。
要买电动收据也是你自己要钱的。
没啥啊。 阿莲等一下。大家好，和大家分享。阿莲，等一下啊。很多人发现到了40-50岁，等一下。
买个电动车，你嫌东嫌西，你也嫌那。电动车本来就是这样。
好。Cái nội thế nó thì cũng còn. Thế trời ơi, được cái đám cái bắp mình ăn mình nữa đợi cho mừng quá. Thấy ăn hết thì mừng quá chứ mừng. Anh nhỉ? Chưa được cái nồi ra nó còn đưa ra đây. Không? Rồi đưa ra cái 4 cái bắp hết còn hết phía luôn.
台湾的东西根本就不习惯了，因为越南的口味跟台湾的口味就不一样。我们在越南是有辣、有酸、有甜，而且早餐越南都是面粉类呢，就牛肉面，就有汤类的。台湾的早餐你们都吃什么吐司、汉堡，我就不习惯。如果吃早餐，我就有时候吃泡面啊，有时候买越南的韩粉回来自己煮啊。我刚家过来之后，就没有越南店很多啊，就有一两家都去找啊，就在哪里有卖，他有写的越南食品啊，我们去那边买回来自己煮啊，就不习惯啊。我bây giờ chuẩn bị nấu cơm chiều.
Con món rồi. Nó ăn cá không?
Cá không có mình rồi cá phải hấp cho nó cá đâu rồi.
Bỏ tủ lạnh rồi.
Đem ra mình ăn lẩu nó ăn canh nó phải có cá nữa.
Vậy là rồi.
Đem cá ra tủ lạnh luôn.
Được quá không?
刚过来台湾的时候，台湾的有规定，半年要回越南一次，那个是新住民的，因为新住民过来一定要6个月要回越南一次，但是慢慢的在改变，就开放了，想回去就回去这样。所以现在少回去，而且疫情好几年。台湾没有开门，台湾不能出国啊！对，疫情啊，后来就有疫情了，就不能出国，所以我们好几年都没有去。现在我不太想回去了，因为我妈妈有常常过来看我，而且我住这边也是比较习惯了，回越南有没有朋友啊？想去哪里就不认识路了，很不方便，因为朋友也没有那边啊。对啊，这边就习惯。
踏入异国婚姻，从陌生到熟悉。必须重新开始，品尝辛辣酸甜。
以前也多可爱的照片，
现在就有出息。
刚生的好可爱哦，你看。
Hi, I'm Phil Churchill. I'm a martial arts instructor and I have early onset Parkinson's disease. I was diagnosed when I was 42 years old. So I started showing symptoms of Parkinson's about 10-15 years ago. I was on antidepressants for a while for post-traumatic stress disorder, and the side effects of the tablets were horrendous. When I stopped taking the tablets, the symptoms carried on. I spoke to my GP about it, and he said, well, that's not symptoms of that's not side effects, that's symptoms of something else. And back and forth, I made a joke. I made a comment about my brother making a joke, saying that I've always been a bit shaky. You look like you've got Parkinson's. And I pointed that out to the GP, and he said, well, kind of fits. So I went to a neurologist, and then several years of tests and stuff, and then got the diagnosis. My main symptoms are worse around my neck. I've got when I'm relaxing, a little twitch that kind of pulls my chin up like that for no real reason, but swallowing, chewing, I bite my tongue a lot more, bite my cheeks a lot more, trying to cough and things like this. Everything sort of around my neck, even breathing sometimes goes wrong somehow. I've also get a bit of a tremor in my left hand, which is pretty much everyone with Parkinson's gets that. It's a fairly common thing. It's not too bad with me. I can still hold focus mitts for people to hit without moving around too much. I get a little bit sort of brain foggy now and again. It takes me a second to remember things, takes me a few seconds to process things. What else? Insomnia is a terrible one. I only sleep for a couple of hours at a time now. Can't remember is another main one. So I can't remember things as well. There's the fibromyalgia type pains, which is just a random stabbing pain for just no reason. The worst one, it feels like a knitting needle's going in there and out there. And there's nothing there, there's nothing wrong with the muscle, doesn't matter what I do, the pain just carries on. Because it's not real pain, it's just the nerves misfiring and telling me there's a pain there when there isn't. So no amount of, you know, whatever, rubbing it or tensing it makes it better. That's a pain. Hidden symptoms is an odd one. Early on, just after the diagnosis, my wife and I sort of talked about whether we tell everyone or no one. I didn't want to tell family and then not tell some people and stuff, so it's either all or nothing. Made the decision to just tell everyone and try and bring a bit of awareness to the disease and the fact that it's not just old people and in their 70s and 80s. I try and keep all the symptoms hidden. I still try and be the me that everybody's known for years. So every symptom is hidden to a degree. But there's things like, you know, the shaky hand. I've got a tendency to keep my left hand in my pocket, or I'll hold my left hand, or move it too much if I'm holding pads. They're constantly on the move, so nobody can see the fact that there is a bit of a twitch. If it's moving around, you can't see it. So I try and hide everything. But like I said for the last question, most of the answers I gave for the main symptoms are hidden symptoms. People hear Parkinson's, they think shaking, and that's it. But there's literally hundreds. I think I saw a list once with over 300 symptoms of Parkinson's, and everyone gets something different. That's just the way that Parkinson's works. My brain doesn't connect properly with the nervous system on a really basic sort of layman's terms. And my brain decides which bits of the body to keep working. So some people lose control of their left arm. Other people lose control of their right foot. Some people lose control of their heart or their lungs or their kidneys or whatever. So, you know, it's different for everyone, but all the main problematic symptoms are hidden. Only really shakiness, the tremors, aren't.
How do you think your diagnosis affected the people around you?
When Mr. Churchill got his diagnosis of Parkinson's, I was devastated. It meant that we were going to have changes to the club, it meant that we were going to have changes to our friendship, and that we had to find different ways of kind of making things work better.
So initially I was obviously worried about him because, you know, it's quite a big thing to happen to someone. I was worried how it would impact our, not training, but like the way he'd be able to teach, and like more like the way, like I didn't want him to be able to would have to stop training, because I know it's something he's really passionate about and teaching is something he really enjoyed. So yeah, I was just worried about him really.
Obviously the stress of housing wise and losing his job in his first martial arts instructing place, but then starting a new company meant I could join martial arts again, and I made lots of friends there, and so it really affected me in a good way, to be honest.
Diagnosis of anything is going to affect the people around you, because anyone that's around you cares about you. So if you get diagnosed with anything, people are going to be all sympathetic and stuff. But I've noticed mainly it's made the people around me blind. Nobody notices it when my head twitches around. Nobody says anything. People are kind of like, oh, didn't even look, wasn't looking when he did that. You know, nobody ever sees these things. So there's a massive increase in politeness and blindness to it. I know it's happening, obviously. I can sort of see it a lot of the time. So yeah, other than that, it's made me realise who cares. Obviously, family and cares and friends care and that. But a couple of years ago, a whole load of students' parents all got together and organised a parachute jump out of an aeroplane to raise money for Parkinson's. And that was awesome. I can't believe they did that. My dad did it as well, and he was in his 70s at the time, which is fantastic. One of my students, two students, and she used to train as well for a while, abseiled down a waterfall to raise money for Parkinson's, and that's a big thing. I stood at the top of the waterfall and was terrified, let alone getting strapped up and jumping down it. So it's things like that from people that you don't necessarily expect it from really makes you feel awesome. You know, it's the support from so many different people, not just the ones that jumped out of plane, but just the general level of support from everyone has been superb.
No, I wouldn't say it impacts our working relationship. Obviously you have to be like wary about hitting him in the head, and like can't go like full, like I don't want to go whacking him and throwing him around, but no, I think we still train, still have a good time, everything's still pretty normal.
In our working relationship, we needed to find different ways of putting things together, or coming up with ways of supporting him and making sure that he had something in the room, so if his balance was going off a little bit or needing something demonstrated, that we had someone there that we could do the demonstrations a little bit more.
Martial arts makes a big difference in the fight against Parkinson's. There's all sorts of studies that have gone on. There's a company in America that do boxing for people with Parkinson's, because the physical fitness makes a big difference fighting any disease. But with this, because it's a body and neurological sort of thing, physical exercise and the muscle strength and all this sort of thing really makes a difference to keep the nerves working, keep the neurons firing and everything else. But martial arts, more so than boxing, no offence to boxers, there's a lot more to think about, because you're using your kicks and your knees and your elbows as well as just your fists. So there's such a huge amount of body movement. Keeps you fit, keeps your muscles fit, but your brain's constantly active with it as well. Stepping where? Which kick should I do next? Should I do an elbow or follow it up with a punch? There's so many combinations and things. You have to be mentally switched on. In doing martial arts, it makes a huge difference and slows the progression. Nothing's ever going to stop the progression of Parkinson's. You just can't. But this really slows it down. And it's been a few years since my diagnosis, and I'm still not actually on any tablets, any drugs to stop or to slow down the Parkinson's. Long may that continue, because the side effects of the tablets are worse than a disease from what I've heard. So it makes a massive difference, and it also makes a massive difference teaching it and having to think it and act it out and demonstrate it in slow motion, which is horribly tough to do. So yeah, I wouldn't be anywhere near as good as I am right now if it wasn't for martial arts. So the other things that help that I haven't already mentioned is probably the students. My students are just a fantastic bunch of people. They give me a reason to keep going. Obviously, family, my kids, my wife, my parents, wife's parents, all these people are wonderful and amazing. My friends are great, but they've always been wonderful and amazing. They've always been great.
How do you think you've helped in his battle with Parkinson's?
I think I've made sure I've kept him obviously the whole way through, so writing the curriculum and everything.
So in the start, when we started setting up the club and things that we've got at the moment, I helped by doing quite a lot of the paperwork and things. I helped with kind of support of making sure that we knew what we were doing legally and things, because I've got a little bit of a background in that.
I helped with medication and stuff and remembering to take it. I go to a lot of appointments with him.
If a move just really doesn't work, or if it's all just too complicated, because if I can't understand, then I've got a simple mind anyway.
On a day-to-day basis, I'm kind of the sounding board with other people of kind of, if he comes up with an idea, we talk it through and we come up with ways of doing it better.
And also supporting martial arts and stuff, and I go on Mondays and Fridays and help assist.
And then I've trained with him a couple of times with people to make sure he can still get his fitness and training with the people he should be training with.
I love going to work. You know, I got the greatest job in the world, teaching these eager students that want to learn more, and I get to hit them and they pay me for it. You know, can't think of a better job than that. So it's a massively positive outlook on life. Goes a long, long way. You know, like I said in one of the earlier questions we spoke about, the depression is one of the things, not just the fact that it's a depressing idea to be my age and get a disease that makes you feel like you're 90 years old every time you wake up in the morning. But I got such a wonderful family and such wonderful friends and such awesome students and a great job. It makes you want to get up in the morning. It makes me want to get out of bed and come to work and do what I do. And then I want to go home and see my family, and then it just, every day is fantastic, and I will fight for every single day because I don't want to stop doing this, ever. So I want to be 150 years old and still teaching martial arts. Having that positive outlook on life and the ability to laugh at Parkinson's is great. You've got to laugh at it. I've started a website, I haven't had time to do much with it, called Soup Days Are Over, which is a joke on the whole halcyon days are over. The fact that Parkinson's people struggle to eat soup because you just end up spilling it everywhere. So Soup Days Are Over, that sums it up for me. Have a laugh. What else can I do? Cry about it? What difference are you going to make? Just get on, just laugh. Carry on doing what I enjoy doing. I'm going to do that anyway, disease or no disease. It.
Nejlek tamilhom bikbar.
Le, mux qed nagħmilhom bi kbar, inti xejn mit-tobdem dik rasek jibsa wistra. Ejja żomm li da, ha?
Ħamur sarban li ma fejn l-oħrajn.
Le, Ben, waħdek ma tmurx ġatlek, issa la tikber mur fejn trid.
U żgur la nikber, żgur ma noħroġ iktar miegħek.
Kif inti kemm illi ma nara?
Veru, komplimentaw qalbi.
Trina, għandu pjaċir li qed narak.
Anka jiena.
Kif in?
Mhux ħażin, inti okej.
Iva, l-aħħar 4 ġimgħat fadal issa li għaddu, Ben, tmixxej.
Għax jedu petit.
dik le, dik mhux għalbejħ.
Għala, x'fija mela?
Fiha xi ħaġa prezzjuża.
Imma x'inhi?
Meta tikber tkun taf. Poġġiha fejn kienet.
Ma! Ma! Ah! Ah!
Ben, x'int tagħmel? Mejja. X'għamil, x'int tagħmel? Baj, Iva, baj, thank you. Jimxi ħammorru daqsir. X'għamil, tweġġajt? Għattajt il-qmis. vindt.
ħafna memorji ġdid.
ħafna. Vera xtaqtek rejta tal-aħħar.
ġej.
Hello? Għaw xaħat?
dik mhux
Naf.
back off. You man back off. You man chill. Hey, you man relax.
We grew up in a place where if you dare to be different, you risk being ridiculed. See, most of us were the same. Categorized by tags, D Sav, T Muller. We were mad quick-tempered.
Yo, my drink. You stole my drink.
It was just an accident, bro.
No,
Just an accident,
bro.
bro. My hand slipped, it knocked on the floor. My bad, bro.
No,
I swear, I'll get you a new one, bro.
This is even like the second time this week.
Bro,
Your hands like with butter fingers.
Bro, it was an accident, man. It was an accident, bro. It was an accident, bro. It was an accident, man. Bro, it was an accident.
Like I've always wondered, why was it so easy to push our buttons? It was actually more like pulling pins, you know? Cause a misfire of a word triggers an inner nerve for a grenade to detonate, affecting all living things in its radius. And sometimes it got serious. Like guys used to easily get triggered, you know? It started off as words.
If you ever do that again, bro, I swear.
Then it got physical. Because of an untraceable offensive word that seemed to be buried in a sentence. And this caused a couple men to get sentenced, even lose their lives. We suffered from a flu-like symptom called anger. It screws up your face, raises your blood pressure and distorts the way you think. And you can feel it just spread. First to my man, then to my man. It left nothing but regret. See, in this circumstance, I caught the flu from my father. At a young age, all it took was a drink and he used to hit the life out of my mother. And I always used to think
Dad shouldn't hit her.
It got me vexed, seriously. But being African raised, it was forbidden to share what goes on with family. Growing up, we were trained from a young age to just
Firm it. Firm it, man. Firm it, man.
Cause what happens in family stays in family, right? When you speak, you're weak, so you seriously had to
toughen up, you softy. Pattern up, man. Waste, man. Firm it, man. Firm it, pattern up, man. Waste.
Cause out here, we don't have it from no one. So we used to project our pain onto others unconsciously. Unhealed, we bled. Bled on people through our anger. And I wish we knew we're not alone. That we ain't defined by a broken home or things that has happened in the past. I'm sorry if we're vexed sometimes. We're just learning how to cope with our trauma. A strong man speaks. He doesn't hold it in. It only makes you weak. It only makes you sensitive, aggressive, and bleed on others that are still yet to heal. Cause we ain't defined by hard times, but our hard times can either make us or break us. So dig deep and think before you make permanent actions in temporary situations.
Ich hatte einen Traum. Wir waren zusammen wie vor 100 Jahren auf der Erde. Und als ich aber hinaufschaute, da sah ich den Untergang der Welt. Und ich hatte keine Angst. Ich sah Schönheit. Und da war tiefer Friede.
Raya.
Kai.
Träume hervorrufen, dunkle Gedanken, Dinge, die verdrängt wurden, vergraben im Unterbewussten.
Übertragung stagniert bei 40. Schalte dich ab. Sonst gerät alles durcheinander. Ungewöhnlich.
Raya, sag irgendwas. Raya? Hörst du zu? Raya. Dein Bewusstsein wird verändert. Was du dich erinnerst und an was nicht.
Ich komm nicht los.
Wer du bist, was du denkst, wen du liebst. Vielleicht erkennst du mich da nicht mal mehr. Da. Feuerstelle.
Welches Feuer?
Was wissen wir über sie?
Sie hat vor dem Transfer keine Angaben gemacht. Nur den Auftrag erteilt, Erinnerungen zu löschen.
Wenn sie ins Tal läuft?
Da suchen wir zuerst. Niron, schick augenlos.
Solche braucht doch auch niemand mehr.
Ach, red doch nicht immer so, als sei schon alles vorbei. Noch sind wir hier. Warte. Mach die Augen zu. ist das?
Das ist der Anfang.
Raya, wo willst du hin? Dein Bewusstsein ist lückenhaft und verwirrt sich immer weiter.
Was machst denn du noch hier?
Möchtest du dich kurz setzen? Ich habe mir manchmal überlegt, wir gehen einfach darunter zur Feuerstelle. Liegen da im Gras. Schauen in den Himmel. Ja, und sehen zu, wie es zu Ende geht. Hörst du zu? Raya.
Hm?
Hast du dir mal überlegt, hier zu bleiben als du selbst?
Es ist nur der Körper. Wir sind immer noch wir.
Ja. Aber warum dahin überhaupt?
Was redest du? Wir bleiben zusammen. Für immer. Was stellst du das denn jetzt
Ja,
in
aber
Frage?
alles, was bisher war, bleibt doch. Oder nicht?
Wir sind für immer Teil von dem, was war. Daran ändert sich nichts, auch wenn das Leben aufhört. Als der echte Kai. Als die echte Raya.
Was soll das heißen?
Dein Bewusstsein wird dabei verändert. An was du dich erinnerst und an was nicht. Wer du bist, was du denkst. Wen du liebst. Wer weiß, vielleicht erinnerst du dich nicht mal mehr an mich.
Du solltest dankbar sein. Für die Chance. Wir fangen neu an. Zusammen. Wir...
Raya. Was ist das?
Ich hatte einen Traum. Wir waren zusammen wie vor 100 Jahren auf der Erde. Und als ich aber hinaufschaute, da sah ich den Untergang der Welt. Und ich hatte keine Angst. Ich sah Schönheit. Und da war tiefer Friede. Dann war mein Traum zu Ende. Und dann begann er von vorn. Wieder und wieder. In der Welt sind wir. Und in uns ist die Welt.